this is what a system that's lacking that performance sounds like. It's just drizzling out the end like this. You're like, what the hell's happening? So what I've done here is I've just opened up this valve a little bit, and what it's actually doing is it's allowing air to enter the system. So this is what you'll start to see. You'll see loads of bubbles, you'll see pulsation and cavitation of the pump. The pump sounds a little bit strained, so to speak, and you'll start seeing air gushing out everywhere, and the pump hasn't got the good performance, like I said. So what causes this? Air that's entering the system. That's what's happening in this case. So I'll just turn this off, and we should hear the sound of the pump change. And then once this starts shooting correctly, I'll show you the different things that you might want to check. There we go. It's working lovely now. So I'll just turn this off. So some of the things that you're going to want to check. So you have air entering the system. So you've got two halves of the pump. I split the system into two halves. I've got the suction side, which is the bit that sucks, and then you've got the pressure side, and that's the bit that pushes. So this out of this side of the pump, it's pushing the fluid into the hose reel and then out of the nozzle. Now, if you have an issue on this side of the pump, you're typically going to see it on the pressure side, because you're going to have water gushing out somewhere. You'll have water leaking from one of the fittings. You'll have water leaking from here. You'll have water leaking from inside the hose reel or somewhere on the trigger. It'll be really easy to see. Now, when you have air entering the system, which often will show as a lack of performance, it's often hard to see exactly where it's coming from, because it's air that comes into the system. There's nothing like visual that you can see. So what I like to do is I like to start working my way back from the pump. So I just want to make sure that I've got all my clips down on the suction side. My Jubilee clips are nice and tight. I want to make sure all these unions are nice and tight on my George Fisher metering valves. I want to check all these fittings here, make sure nothing's loose. I want to make sure that, again, all the Jubilee clips are tight on the suction side, on the blend manifold. I want to work my way back up. I want to make sure that I've got Jubilee clips tight here. All these fittings are secure. Everything's clamped on. I want to make sure that I've got fluid in my tank. That's the most common thing, is do you actually have any material? Because if you don't have any material, it's going to suck air. The system will suck air, and you will have a lack of performance then. And then if you've checked all of those things, you've got water in the tank, you've got soap in your soap tank, you've got chemical in your chemical tank, you've checked all your fittings, all this is fine. What I have found is that sometimes this three-way valve can have air, like the seal might not be super good. So let's say you've had this system for like a whole year. You're happy with the condition of the hoses. They're all tight. The condition of the hoses is nice. They're clear. They don't need to be replaced or anything like that. You want to make sure that these 4 pins are tightened up periodically, like once a month, once every, probably not even that often, once every couple of months. And there's like a PTFE seal that's inside here and a ball, and you know you're turning this three-way flush valve all the time, and there's going to be some wear. So you're just going to want to nip this up, because sometimes air can be introduced into the system somewhere between here. And then if you've done that and you're still getting air introduced into your system, let's go inside. You got a little hose clip in there. You're going to want to make sure that's tight. And a good way of checking this is if you get your hand in and you just try and spin the hose. If the hose can easily be spun, it's often a sign that this is this Jubilee clip needs to be replaced, and maybe the pipe too, because you could have air being introduced at that point as well. So yeah, when you have a lack of performance, it's often due to the fact that air is being introduced into the system. It can be also that the battery is low. So if I just hit enter on the controller, this will tell me how many volts is left. Low voltage on the battery. When it gets down really low, it actually will stop the pump from working, because it's trying to protect the pump. Because if you run these with the battery really low, it can actually hurt the motor on the pump and damage your pump. So it's actually got a protection system built into the controller. The other thing for poor performance, if you haven't got any of those symptoms, like the air entering the system, you've had your pump for a year, 18 months, it might be time to just get a new pump, or even consider a new battery, especially if you're running it low all the time, like you're just using it every day and just charging it once a day. So yeah, that's the basics of if you've got low performance. It's you want to check the pressure side of the pump, which is this half, and it will be really easy to see if there's an issue, because you'll have water gushing out places around the reels, around the nozzles. Then if it's on the suction side, you're just going to want to make sure you check all your Jubilee clips, these little unions here, stuff like that. Work your way back up, make sure you've got fluid in the tanks, and that's everything. Yeah, peace.